Okay, we are at the finale, the final video for Wimbledon 2010 draw preview, draw breakdown, whatever you want to, draw analysis, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to be too long, hopefully. I'm going to jump right in, I don't want to bore you guys too long. I call this section the Spaniard section because it's loaded with a bunch of Spaniards. We have Fernando Verdasco, the 8th seed, with a possible upset, I think, in the first round. Depending on how Fernando's playing. Fernando really, disappointed me playing all those clay court tournaments leading up to the French Open. Even though he got to the round of 16, losing to Almagro, I felt he could have gone, one round better. But with exhaustion and stuff. But I have yet to see him on the grass yet. And Fabio Fognini, the Italian, as we all remember from French Open, actually, has game. I was talking to Will back in the French Open. We were conversing over his game. He's got a little game on him. He's not afraid of the French crowd. He wasn't afraid of Gal Monfils, saving all those match points, having match points, and finally closed it out after 2 days. So it's a tricky possible upset for opening round for Fernando Verdasco. Third rounder, Julien Benneteau, the 32nd seed from France. But the more enticing thing is the possibility of a consecutive round of 16 with his countryman Nicolas Almagro, the 19th seed, who should face Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, the Frenchman, in the 10th seed in the third round. I think Tsonga will prove too much. I think clay gives Fernando and Nicolas time to set up for their shots, but I think Fernando can adapt more to a hard court and grass better than Nicolas can. So I think Jo-Wilfried Tsonga will, Joe get through against Verdasco, in the quarters. No, oops, sorry, in the round of 16. Let's jump down now since we're hopping ahead to Andy Murray's. This is actually Andy Murray's quarter, but let's go down to his section of this quarter, where you have Juan Carlos Ferrero, the quarterfinalist here last year, the 14th seed. He opens against Xavier Malisse, the Belgian, former semifinalist back in 2002. That's a possible upset to me. Juan Carlos really didn't wow me at Roland Garros. He hasn't, and that's clay. He loves playing on clay. And I know he got to the quarters last year here, but I like Xavier, so we shall see. Possible third rounder for either or is Sam Querrey, the American who actually won in Queens. So he's got a little confidence brewing, and the fourth round, of course, with Wimbledon's favorite son, Andy Murray, the 4th seed. He has a testy little second round against Jarko Nieminen, the Finn, or Stefan Kubik. Is he Austrian? I think he's Austrian. And then the possible third round against the Frenchman, Gilles Simon, the 26th seed. I don't see Andy losing before the second week. I don't actually see him losing. I don't see him losing in the first week. If that'll be major upset to me. So, you can write that down, quote me on that. I don't see him losing in the first week. Andy Murray's fourth round, I think, will come against Sam Querrey. And Sam with his confidence, Andy Murray with, wanting to be, to push through and finally win his first Grand Slam. Would be awesome if he could win it on his home turf of London. I'm not the biggest Andy Murray fan because I don't think he's as gracious as he could be. But Gotta respect his game. He has a very nice drop shot. His serve action is really good. If he can, cut back on his double faults, he'd be great. And, gotta love his backhand. I see, what do I see? I see Andy and Sam, 4th round. Andy, of course, getting through to meet Tsonga in the quarters. That match will be a little tricky, but I think Andy will get through to the semis. Let's go to the last section, actually. And this is the Nadal quarter. At the top of his quarter, you have Robin Soderling. I hate his name because I always mess it up. Robin Soderling, the 6th seed, as you know, the 2-time finalist at Roland Garros. He opens against the American Robbie Gnabry. Depends on how Robbie comes out, because Robbie, can be dangerous, very dangerous. But you also gotta like Robin's chances. His test, I think, will come in the 3rd round against Tomas Belushi, the 25th seed. Hard hitting, If he could just get consistency in his game, I could see him climbing really high. On paper, the possible 4th round with David Ferreira, the 9th seed, but he opens against Nicholas Kiefer, who is a former quarterfinalist. Even though it was back in '97, this guy can play hard on grass. I think a couple of years ago, he kind of really took it to Federer, and it was straight sets, I believe, but it was a couple of I think it was 4 sets. But he really took it to him, made him work for it. You have Marcus Bagdatis, who is also a possible 4th round for Robin. He's a former semifinalist, 06. So I actually like Marcos and Robin playing in the round of 16. You get down, we get to the actual little 16s for Nadal. You have Mikhail Yuzny, the Russian, who's the 13th seed, who opens against Dudi Sela, as I said earlier, from Israel, who took out Andy Roddick in Queens. I think it was in straight sets. So, and there's a possible 3rd rounder. He plays 2nd round between the Frenchman Marc Jacal, a Frenchman, either Marc Jacal or Paul-Henri Mathieu, and the 3rd rounder against the American John Isner, 23rd seed. We all know about John. The possible 4th round for that person will be Rafael Nadal, but he opens against Kei Nishikori, the Japanese young teen. He might be 20 now, but Nadal's a 2008 champion, 2 times finalist before that. Got to note that James Blake, he is 50 something in the world, but he's former top 4. Possible 2nd round for Rafa Nadal. And the 3rd round, Rafa's really got, each round is going to be a little something. So if he can get through that, I think his confidence will be brewing, because he has 3rd round possible test between Ernest Gulbis, the 27th seed from Latvia. I put it in paper. I said Dudi Sela, I think, will come through to at least the 3rd round against Isner, where Isner will best him, end his run. Rafa and Isner in the 16s, and I think Rafa will get past that. Marcos and Rafa again in the semifinals, where Rafa will take him out and go on to the final, where he'll meet Roger, and it's kind of tough to call that match, so I won't. We'll just see if my predictions come true. I appreciate you guys. I thank you for watching. I know this is like 4 9-minute videos. You don't have to watch them all at once. I appreciate you if you do. Please comment, rate. You can even subscribe. Thank you, and look forward to Wimbledon. Alright, bye.